Hello everyone and welcome to another YouTube devlog. I want to start with thanking you for the kind feedback. It really helps with the motivation. I recently signed up to Mastodon, something I had not done earlier because I felt I had no reason to. It turned out to be a great choice, lots of motivation and fun projects to follow. Now this episode is going to be a bit different than the others. This will be a recap episode. I will go through the project from the start to where I'm at right now. It will be a longer and not so technical episode. In short, the concept of the game is a retro graphical adventure game. You will be playing as a detective in a rotten city. The story will take place in a big fictional American city similar to New York. Since the game is made to look like it's from the 80s, it's fitting that the story takes place during that time period. A big inspiration for the games come from the classics Snatcher and Policenauts. Those games have a huge amount of flavor text and an incredible world full of details. There are not many modern games available for people with bad eyesight. So a big goal is to make it play for that group, with or without the minimal help from tools. The development of the project started with a fresh installation of Visual Studio Code. I had not used any versions for many years. I mainly use small open source software. Visual Studio Code is an extremely powerful tool and has turned out to be very fun to use. I wanted to use something else than Krita for mockup, so I started with HTML and CSS. Setting up the CSS is always tricky when you haven't used it in a while. Measurements and alignment change from time to time, and there is always something new to learn. The browser zoom function is a very helpful tool when doing pixel art style projects. Just press Ctrl and scroll to zoom in and out. The mockup turned out great, so I decided to wait with Python and continue the project with JavaScript. It's easy to forget things when switching between languages, so a good hello world is always a great start. Not including the right files is a mistake I often make. JavaScript is super fun and fast to use, and you can be very creative when coding. But it has its quirks and it can be easy to get lost sometimes. This game has the potential to get too big without some kind of management. I wanted some kind of project breakdown before moving ahead. For this I thought a roadmap would be a good start just to get a feeling for it. There are great tools out there, Trello and Obsidian for example. But the CSS and the HTML coding had me hooked, so I went for my own system. I started with Firefox's own theme before switching to a retro theme, but it turned out to be a failure. It was not nice to look at and very much not inspiring. It had to go. But the time was not wasted, I had a good time coding and I really needed a CSS practice. The data in the current roadmap can be copy-pasted into a new format, so that part of the progress was not wasted. I will probably try something like Obsidian in the future and see how that works out. The game and the engine are two separate parts of the finished project. With a bit of luck I will be able to reuse the engine code in future projects. But the separation is also needed because not all of the source files are created as JavaScript files. Files can be HTML, Markdown or Python and then converted to JavaScript files. Sometimes you don't know what you want before you try it, so creating a directory structure and lots of files can help you decide what you're going for. A dummy test to see if the workflow works for you. After all that work I now had a small proof of concept, a fun prototype I'm proud of. The prototype works great and I love the look of it. It's not a demo yet, but not far from it. The engine can move between passages and it looks like a real game in the early stages of development. The next step for the project is to convert Twine data to game data. For this I will create a Python script. It will be something simple that removes unnecessary HTML info from the Twine file and then save the results as JavaScript. I will also start on the concept art, a simple image or animation for each scene. Something that makes the game more fun to look at and work with. These kind of things are needed to give inspiration and make it more fun to move the project forward. If you made it this far, I want to thank you for your time. If you can't wait and want to see more, I have a playlist with the rest of the devlogs available on my channel. If you just want a small talk, you can find me over at Mastodon or leave a comment here. So thanks again for watching this special episode of my devlog and have a great day.